There are some events in Rise of Kingdoms where the value is... Wait. I look a little bit... What's wrong with my color? Much better. There are some events in Rise of Kingdoms where the value is just so good. As long as you have the gems, you want to go ahead and get the maximum value. And Holy Knight's Treasure is one of those events. However, there's always a however in my videos. In certain cases, even the best events in Rise of Kingdoms may just be a waste of gems. Even though I do have a lot of gem stacks, 142,000 gems, and definitely I can use some blueprints. Look at that. I can use some materials, I can use some blueprints. On paper, this event, as always, its Holy Knight's Treasure looks amazing. But for me, at this moment, it is actually waste of gems. I just wanted to give you my whole thought process behind deciding spending my gems or not spending. So this way, when there is an event, not just Holy Knight's Treasure, but any events, any gem spending event in Rise of Kingdoms, you can think the same and spend your gems efficiently. Without further ado, let's go. Right, so first, we're gonna take a look at the rewards. We have equipment material choice chest, amazing, speed ups. I'm in early game, I'm in pre-KVK 1, my power is not even 10 million. So even the building speed ups, research speed ups, they're all good for me. But of course, the main thing that if you are in Season of Conquest, you know, max building, max technology, the main thing that you care is training speed ups and also universal speed ups. But this event is of course mainly for materials and the blueprints. Now, let's take a look at the blueprints. For epics, we have the legs, we have the helm, and we have the weapon. And if you take a look at my poor equipment, you'll notice that I can make use of every single epic blueprint. Whether it's legs, helm, or weapon, doesn't matter. But the main reward here is the legendaries. So let's take a look at the options. Number 1 is helm, number 2 is legs. Warhelm of the Hellish Wasteland. I'm just going to talk about, you know, a cavalry main perspective, but this applies to every single troop type. When you craft a legendary, at least that is my opinion, when you craft a legendary equipment in Rise of Kingdoms, you want the BIS. What I mean by BIS is best in slot. You craft it, then you forget about it. You don't think about further upgrades because the thing is, you probably already know, but when you dismantle a legendary, when you dismantle an epic, a green item or a blue, you get all the materials back. The only thing that you are using when you craft it and then dismantle it is the blueprint and the gold. However, I don't have a legendary right now, but when you dismantle a legendary, you lose half of the materials, which is insane because they cost so many materials. Let's take a look at Navarre's Control. If I craft this 40 legendary materials just for the glows, and if I dismantle it after that, it will only give me back 20 legendaries. Half of the legendaries will be gone. And that's why when you craft a legendary equipment in Rise of Kingdoms, you want to have the best in slot. And is Warhelm of the Hellish Wasteland best in slot? No, absolutely not. What you want to have is KVK Helm. The reason is, on your endgame cavalry set, you 100% want Heavy Armor of the Hellish Wasteland, and you 100% want Boots of the Hellish Wasteland. This is already 2 pieces. And if we take a look at 4 pieces bonus, counterattack damage 3%. This is extremely weak. This is only good for probably one cavalry march, which is Attila Takeda, or let's say any march that you use, maybe Attila Nevsky, whatever, but you get the idea. That is very, very specific and extremely niche. So 95% of the time, you don't want to go over 2 pieces from the cavalry set. That is the general rule. And in this case, unfortunately, Warhelm of the Hellish Wasteland is not the best in slot. It is Pride of the Khan. There is one more exception. If you think about going back to KVK2 and playing KVK2 and KVK3 again and again, then yes, Warhelm of the Hellish Wasteland is going to be the best in slot for you because you cannot go back to KVK2 or 3 and play with SOC items. You can only use regular legendaries, but going back to early KVKs is something that I don't recommend. Right, so in the end, Warhelm of the Hellish Wasteland is not a best in slot, so we are going to rule that out. The second option is the legs. Now this one is a little bit weird. Ash of the Dawn. Is this the best in slot in your endgame cavalry set? Yes it is, because the other alternative is going to be the set piece Thesis of the Hellish Wasteland. Not only compared to health, it gives you attack, but same problem again. Most of the time you don't want to go over 2 pieces with your cavalry set. This is completely useless. What you want is Ash of the Dawn most of the time. However, even though this is best in slot, now we need to think even more. The first thing that you need to look at is the accessibility. Because in Rise of Kingdoms, if you go to Tavern and click on the reward list, you will see that all the regular legendaries can be obtained with regular equipment chest, and Ash of the Dawn is one of them. Yes, the chances are extremely slim. Look at this one, legendary blueprint, 0.05%. However, there is still a chance, and here is the proof. Boom, Navarre's Control full blueprint, and the way I got it is regular equipment chest. So even though chances are really slim, there is still a chance, so I can get this Edge of the Dawn blueprint from a regular equipment chest. That is the first downside. And the second one is priority. And the way we decide a priority is looking at the cheaper alternative. I always say that when you are crafting legendaries for your cavalry march, your priorities should be first Boots of the Hellish Wasteland and the second Heavy Armor of the Hellish Wasteland, and these are, in my opinion, the only two pieces that you want from cavalry set. You want to finish it off with a KVK weapon, KVK helm, there we go, and Navarre's Control and Edge of the Dawn. And the reason is quite simple. These two are part of a set, so they're going to give you troop health 3% with two pieces. And the other thing is, let's take a look at the alternative of the boots. Cloud Racers 5.5% attack compared to 7.5% health. Boots of the Hellish Wasteland, it is a massive upgrade compared to Cloud Racers. However, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for low spenders or newer players, this is not the case with Edge of the Dawn. 12% cavalry health compared to cheap alternative Gladiator, 8% cavalry health. So they both give the best stat in the game in my opinion, which is health. This one gives 12%, this one gives 8%. However, the thing about epics is that, as I said at the start of the video, when you dismantle your epics, you get every single blueprint back. Look at this one. I spent 100 epic materials to craft this Heart of the Saint, and if I dismantle it now, it is going to give me back all 100 materials. And this means as long as you get the blueprints, you are pretty much guaranteed to get a special talent on your epics or blues or whatever. Because in Rise of Kingdoms, you can either refine it to get this special talent, or you can craft, when you craft, I should say, an equipment piece, the same piece, 5 times. On the 5th craft, you are guaranteed to get a special talent. And trust me, I already played the late game for many years. Getting these epic blueprints later in the game is super easy. So technically, maybe not in KVK 1, but when we go to KVK 2 or 3, this Gladiator item is kind of guaranteed that it's going to give us not 8%, but 10.5% HP. And if we compare it to Legendary Alternative, 10.5% health compared to 12%. And we all know that if you've been playing Rise of Kingdoms for a while, you need to get very lucky to get a special talent on your legendaries. So most likely we're not going to get a special talent on this, so I count this as 12%. This one is 10.5%. So there is only 1.5% difference. So would you spend all those gems just to get, in the end, like eventually 1.5% stat difference? I don't think so. If it was cavalry set chest or cavalry boots, I would go all the way to 90 until I can get all the blueprints. But for Edge of the Dawn, even though this item is the best in slot in your endgame cavalry set, even though Holy Knight's Treasure is probably the best event in the game to spend your gems regarding equipment and materials, I will still go only 10. Because every single time there is a gem spending event, you have to think about your alternatives. You have to think about what this event is going to give you in return when you spend all your gems. If I go to 100, yes, it is pretty much guaranteed that I will get the blueprint for Edge of the Dawn. But is this a priority item? Is this equipment piece has low accessibility? No. Is the cheap alternative really bad compared to Edge of the Dawn? Again, no. So there is no point for me to go all the way to 100. What I'm going to do, I will save my gems, and when there is a Holy Knight's Treasure that includes my priority items which have low accessibility and with bad alternatives, like bad cheap alternatives, that is when I will be spending a lot of gems to get the final chest. Hope you guys liked it, hope you guys enjoyed it. I believe this video is going to be very useful when it comes to gem spending. As I said at the start of the video, not just for Holy Knight's Treasure, but pretty much any gem spending event in Rise of Kingdoms. Make sure to like if you liked the video. I see you on the next one. Thank you. Goodbye.